Hello and welcome to the Unsung Sport podcast, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of the sports you love. Today I'm joined by Mark Phillips, Assistant Sporting Director at West Ham United. Thanks for coming on.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So look, before we talk about West Ham, and I make no apologies that this is going to be a bit of a West Ham heavy podcast, but you were at Arsenal beforehand. So just to kind of cover that off, can you talk to me about your time at Arsenal and how you got there?
Yeah, I've done a lot of grassroots, if you want to call it grassroots, or non-league coaching, mostly for free as a volunteer and things like that. And then I sort of found my way to Arsenal in a particularly young age group. I think I started off doing the under-11s through someone who was head of recruitment there, Sean O'Connor, and spent three and a half quite happy years at Arsenal. But at the time, I was doing the under-11s. West Ham's under-11s were not doing so good, and someone mentioned to Tony Carr, who was the academy manager at the time, that the fellow at Arsenal, being me, was a West Ham fan, and he'd come here tomorrow. And then Tony rang me up. I thought he was one of my mates messing about, as my sort of my mates would do. And then I obviously went to West Ham for an interview, and I've been here ever since, 17, nearly 18 years ago.
Yeah, it's mad. And obviously you're West Ham through and through yourself, so that was a no-brainer for you.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I enjoyed working at Arsenal. Good club to work for, good players, good facilities. But, West Ham's, there's not a better, for me personally, which is a lot of people find strange, there's not a better club in the world to work for than West Ham United.
Yeah, you have to be a bit nuts to support West Ham a bit. So, no, I agree with you there. And you've been there for 17 years, as you mentioned there. Can you give us a kind of overview of your role, like where you started and to where you are now?
Yeah, I started as a part-time under-11s coach, which would mean training twice a week at Chelsea Leaf with the under-11s, training Saturday mornings, and you'd have a game Sunday. That would be your week, really. You was just mainly concentrating and dealing with the under-11s, your team. You'd share half the indoor gym with the under-10s, and it'd go from there. And I was there for doing that for 3 years. Then I was promoted to the under-13s, done another couple there, then under-15s, under-16s, and I've been with the under-18s for the last 10 years. It always works in English football that it's seen as a promotion, and you're bettering yourself working with the older age groups. But funny enough, in some countries, Holland being one of them, you're actually salary and the better quality of coach is put with the younger age groups, because they feel that's where you learn the game. When you're under 10s, 11s, 12s, when you get to sort of 17, 18s, you're just polishing players up. But you're teaching them the game and sort of modelling them really. When they're that sort of age, they're more susceptible and taking information more like a sponge at a younger age group. But in this country, you seem to be promoted and pushed through, through the age groups.
And Holland, obviously, have had some they've always been famous for their sort of youth and bringing great players through. Still happening today. Yeah. Is that really? Do you think they're kind of one of the leaders in that sphere?
Developing players, you mean? Yeah, without a doubt. Developing technical players. I mean, if you watch a lot of Dutch football, Dutch first team football, it's quite unpleasant. It can be quite boring, if I'm honest with you. But they are all good technically. They're all good technical players, and that's what they produce. Through the age groups, they do produce good technical players. And Kevin Keane, who I've worked with for the last 4 years, always says technique is king, and I do tend to agree with him.
Yeah, I used to love Keane as a player. So, I get jealous. I know there's some names going to pop out here. I'm just going to smile because it will take me back. But
I have to stop you there because it's strange for me because, before I worked for West Ham, I've been going West Ham since 1970, home and away for years. If you look through my phone list, I'm sort of really pals with Steve Potts. I'm real pals with Kevin Keane, real pals with Stuart Slater, Colton Cole, Paul Konchesky. I'm not just name dropping, but I am a little bit. But they're now my mates. It is weird. It's weird for me as well. Yeah. I spent lots of my wages in the past going to see them play, and now they're my mates.
Now they're paying you.
It is, yeah, strange that. Not enough, but they are paying me.
No, it's never enough. It's never enough. And so you mentioned there that you were the under-18s for a long time, but recently you've stepped up to be assistant sporting director. So how does that work, and what's the dynamic like with Mark Noble?
The actual name of sporting, I'm actually pathways. It's some pathways manager, it's pathways and development manager. Right. But I actually am. It was Mark's idea to get me to work alongside him. Yeah, it's a different role. I'm still getting used to it. I love being out on the grass, and I love having a structure, getting in at 9, working till 5. This is more sort of, I have to write my own diary. I have to go to games, travelling a lot more. I mean, I was at Goodison Park the other night to watch the under-21s because we've got two, maybe 3 players who play for Northern Ireland. So it's more that sort of stuff. I mean, I'm still seconded to work with the 21s and coach with the 21s because that's where Steve Potts is, and Steve likes me around him. I think he likes me around him for the banter more than the football knowledge, but no.
And we touched about, back in April, I think it was, when we won the FA Youth Cup. That must have been a great moment for you. Without
a doubt, for me personally, it's the greatest moment in my small but sad footballing career. I mean, because we took 8,000 to the Emirates that night. I mean, it was all West Ham. All we could hear was West Ham. And after we won the trophy, and we won it convincingly, by the way, we beat Arsenal 5-1 after being 1-0 down, the whole end was just like, it appeared to me, it wasn't obviously the case, it appeared to me that everyone in that end was either part of my family or part of my friends I've known for years. It was crazy. Definitely the best day, personally, of my footballing life.
Yeah, it was rocking, as you say, 5-1. 5-1 was... did you even think... I mean, I think the last time that West Ham won that, as I say, is 1999, when Joe Cole and Carrick were in the team. Are we seeing a future golden generation coming through here?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, there's some in that group. There's some really, really good players, and even a couple of them they were so young. They're available to play in the Youth Cup this year. Ollie Scholes and Lewis Alford can play this year. So that is a really, really good group, and they're doing fantastic in the under-21s league. And when you think about it, they're doing really well in the under-21s league. They're under-19s, really. And we're in the Papa Johns, where we've won it every game against the league teams. No, that is a really good group. I'm not saying they're all going to go and play in the Premier League for West Ham United, but it'd be nice if one or two of them do.
I mean, you've got Colchester United in that.
We have indeed in a couple of weeks. But it's not weird, but we've got Colchester United, and half of Colchester's staff and players come from West Ham. I mean, Elliot Wall does the under-18s. Matthew Everton is the first-team manager. Dimitri was the under-21s. Rob Cowling, the owner's a West Ham fan. Half of their players, their best player supposedly this year is Jayden Ferrier. He comes from us. There's Jade Mingy, Will Greenwich. There's so much connections between Colchester and West Ham. Yeah. It is quite bizarre. That we're happy with the draw. It's a stadium game, so it's a good one for us and for them.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good one because, again, there's a lot of West Ham fans up here in Colchester. It's not too far, so.
I'd expect there to be. West Ham fans never fail to surprise you. I mean, the 3 games we've played in the Papa Johns, we've played Bristol Rovers, Cheltenham, and Newport away, all in the West Country. There's always been 100, 200 West Ham supporters here. It's been a good night for them, though, because we've won every one of them, so it's been good.
Yeah. Beat Colchester, you think?
I'm not going to say that. Been an interesting game.
Yeah, it will be a good game. But obviously, Mbama's somebody that's just, I say he's not just broke through, but he's been on the bench a lot. He come on at the weekend against Burnley, made a real difference. It was an own goal in the end, but I think if he weren't there, that goal wouldn't have gone in. So he's doing well.
Yeah, it's funny. Like now, people are talking about Divine, and he's on the television. He's this, he's that. I've known him since he was 11 and 12, and he comes from Canning Town. He's a local lad. He comes from Newham. He's West Ham. I think the key to his game is his movement. He's got fantastic movement as a front player, and he's a good finisher when the chance arises. So, fingers crossed. As I say, there's not only Divine. There's Callum Marshall. There's Gideon. We've got a lot of good forwards in the under-21s group. So one of them might break through and find themselves in the first team.
Yeah, excellent. And I know you also, you were there when Declan Rice came through. So, that's the kind of real standout. Did you know he was going to be that good?
No, you'd be lying if you did. I mean, if I'm honest with you, Declan was released at Chelsea because he got when you get to 14, 15, he got quite leggy and quite gangly. And at the time, I was doing the under-15s. When we had a really good midfield. We had a player called Joe Powell, now plays for Burton. We had Billy Holmes, who's not playing football. We had a lot of good players. And I said to the head of recruitment, Dave Hunt, I said, well, where's he going to fit in our team? We don't need him. I don't see why have we got him? And to be fair to Dave, he said, no, trust that he's a good player. And then after 2 weeks, his character and personality is unbelievable, Dick. I mean, if he wasn't a footballer, he's so funny. He's funny. He's such a character. He can play a little bit as well.
Yeah, he's not a bad player.
He's not bad. And he's a great lad. I still speak to him all the time. He's a great fella. Really.
Yeah. I always thought he was going to be the one that would go on and captain England, but obviously Bellingham now he's got competition. But what a great centre midfield pairing that is for England.
Yeah, I see Deck more as the captain. Unbiased, obviously unbiased towards Deck, but I just an organiser and someone who does that trustworthy. Bellingham's a fantastic player, really is. Takes people on, takes people out of the game, goes past people. But Deck in that sort of, I like my captain to be defensive mind. No, I do like him to be defensive mind. I think they haven't got to be in the back four, but they've got to be someone who sees the game in front of them. And I think Deck's personality, I don't know Bellingham's personality, I'd be lying, but you'd have to go a long way to have a better personality than Declan Rice.
Yeah, he's like the typical team player, and he just puts in the graft for everybody.
And even now, even like at the Youth Cup final, he was the one, really going around all the team, congrats. And that's massive in a club. I mean, he's captain of the first team, and he's at the youth game, going to all our youth players, really encouraging them. No, him and Mark as well. Him and Mark are fantastic West Ham people. Yeah. I know Dick's not no more, but I have to remind myself of that.
Well, I still think, it's one of those that fair enough, he had to move on because I think he is Champions League player. I mean, everyone knows he's a Champions League player, but I was gutted to see him go.
Yeah, you think how I felt. It was like, and even now, when we played Arsenal the other week in the Cup, I wasn't going to go. Because I thought I can't have people around me slagging Deck off and that. But to be fair to West Ham fans, I thought that was brilliant. Give him a great. There's a few boos here and there, but the reception Deck got was good, and he knows it. He said he went. Don't know if people saw it at the end of the game. He went round to the four sides, and everyone was clapping him and that sort of thing. Like he said, I want to keep on West Ham. He said because I'll come back when I'm in my 30s. I said, we won't want you.
We'll be Champions League then, will we?
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it blew my mind how anyone could boo him because what he gave to West Ham was.
Yeah, I mean, I have to be careful what I say because I'm biased towards him and his family, his mum and dad and his brother. They're terrific people, so it would really annoy me if I was there and they was booing him. And listen, I've got loads of my mates are disgruntled because, like I said earlier, to anyone else, to us, to me and you, West Ham's the biggest club in the world. What do you want to leave West Ham for? Yeah. But obviously, there's other reasons why you wouldn't, and some fans look like that. And I can understand why. I can understand both sides of it, but I wouldn't like Deck being booed in my presence, if I'm honest.
Take exception to it, and quite rightly so as well.
Personally.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So obviously you're. So I'm still trying to get my head around that sporting director. What's the difference between a sporting director and a director of football?
I haven't got a clue. I haven't got the clue between the difference between a sporting director and a technical director either. I'm just a football man. Don't understand the sort of nuance of all that. I really don't understand it. It's just a job I've been given, and I just do the job to the best of my ability. I'm just a football person and a West Ham person, really. And if I'm doing anything wrong, I'm sure Mark would tell me so. But I just say it as I see it, really. And
so, how was that interaction between? Is Noble around a lot, or you mentioned you spend a lot of time with Potts and others?
Yeah, I'm always with Steve, and obviously Kenny Brown, another name as a player. Yeah, but I spend, because I don't know if you know, we're on three different sites actually, but the up to the age of under 9s to under 18s, that's all at Chad Belief and the indoor domes at Chad Belief. But the under 21s are on the same site as the first team at Rush Green. So if I'm with the 21s, then I don't see the others. So it all works like that sort of thing. And obviously you want the 21s to be near the first team because if someone, if they're a player short or they want someone to train with them, obviously the idea of the academy is to get someone in amongst the first team training group, then hopefully in amongst the first team.
Identification of players you touched upon earlier. So is it your job to identify young players? To Stegen looks at senior players. I couldn't.
Yeah. I'm more like transition and pathways is my transition and pathways manager. So say someone, for instance, off the top of my head, is an under-14s player doing really, really well, is exceptional. I might be the one who says, let's push him up an age group, let's let him train with the 15s. And that's how you get tested. And, you know, it's funny, that's what didn't happen to Dec. And he come from nowhere, because a lot of people, I've told it before, but I don't know if anyone's heard me talk before, I apologise. When Dec was when you get to under 16, you get offered a scholarship. You get a scholarship. So there was a load of players to say in that team who got offered scholarships with professional deals when you get to 17 on the back of it. And there was a consortium of staff. We sat down and discussed a lot of players. And Dec was one of them. And it was like 50-50 whether Dec gets taken at 16. Whatever people say, they say, oh, yeah, I knew Dec. They didn't know. I was in the meeting, I know, said, let's take Dec, and then Dec knows as well. So when he was under 16, he played for the under 16s, might have played up for the under 18s. So when he was in the under 18s, the first year of under 18s, he just played for the under 18s, where a lot of the ones now in the 21s, of their under 17s, like I say, Lewis Alford and Ollie Scholes, they've already played up in the under 21s all year, but they're still under 18s. That's how much Dec wasn't. Dec wasn't pushed on, other players were pushed on, and then it sort of made him a bit steely and a bit determined. Like, I'll show you then. And he sort of come through the back of them and obviously overtook everyone.
Well, it's mad. That's just a later development. And the players do develop later. Obviously, we see that all the time. And I guess from your time looking back with Declan in that team, you probably would have thought other players would have gone on and achieved more.
Maybe under 16s, yeah. But then when I started to really know Dec, and really, I mean, it was my fault actually that I turned Dec from a midfield player into a centre half. He often reminds me of that. But we had funny. It was a pre-season friendly, so he's just got his scholarship. He's an under 17s playing in the under 18s. It was a pre-season friendly at Colchester United, funny enough, and something happened with the two centre backs, and I knew Dec could play. And I said, "Do you mind playing centre back today?" He said, I said, "Go on, Dec, you do a job there." And he played there, and he was outstanding. And then I said, "Oh, I quite like it there. I see it's all in front of me." And he played at centre half then for the next couple of years, really. Yeah. The same again, I changed Ben Johnson from a central midfield player to a fullback. So that was again down to me, sort of thing. I said to him, he said, "I want to play midfield, I said, "You can play midfield, Ben, and you're okay, you're not bad in there, you're decent." I said, "You could have a career at fullback." And he sort of has that. He's played over 50 games in the Premier League, which ain't bad. So that's not a full career, but it's a start of a decent career. So I am to blame with changing players' position, but sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
I guess with a lot of professional players, certainly when they were younger, they probably were all strikers.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. I mean, I wasn't working with him, but Rio Ferdinand thought he was a striker, and he'd come back. So, I mean, Ashley Cole at Arsenal was a centre forward. And then what happened? He was being released, Ashley Cole. Everyone knows Ashley Cole was being released at Arsenal. And then they had a game. I think it was under 16. They had a game, and the left back, something happened to the left back. And they went, "Oh, Ashley, just play left back in this game for us." And he played there, and they went, "That's actually ain't bad." And that's how it went. The same with Reece Oxford at West Ham. Reece Oxford was come to West Ham as a centre forward. Right. And he just wasn't quite good enough. And again, he played in a night game, one night, a friendly night game at Chadwell Heath. It wasn't me. A coach called Alex Smith put him back there. He played centre half, and he's had a career. He's still playing in Germany, so just shows you.
Yeah, just that change of position.
And sometimes it's not a coach being clever. He might just get lucky with it. But no one would admit that.
No, of course not. Yeah, he was always up there.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, definitely.
So obviously we've got the January transfer window fast approaching. I won't ask about any targets, of course, but do you think there's an opportunity? You know, do you think we'll go out and spend big, or do you think there's players that by that time could push through from the youth team?
You could ask about the transfer window, and I honestly wouldn't have a clue. Right. I haven't got a clue about any targets in it. I don't know the full SP of it, but I do know after what's happened to Everton, and I think Manchester City and Chelsea have got something coming around the corner, but I don't know that for a fact. Every club, including West Ham, have to be very careful of the financial fair play rules, and I don't know how much we spent the other year, and I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I wouldn't think we're going to spend a lot of money. No.
Yeah, but I suppose we're with that mindset really, with knowing that there's the Lutons, Everton are obviously now in trouble, and there's some teams down there. We're not going to be relegated, are we? So we're going to always have that safety net
Yeah, no. I'd be very surprised if we was anywhere near it. But I would like from my own point of view, personally as a fan of that, I would like to see, as I say, it's well above my pay grade. I'm not telling David Moyes or any of the staff who they should be playing, but we've got a good young crop of players ready and waiting if they're called upon.
Yeah. Well, it'd be, I mean, as a West Ham fan myself, I'd love it if they do come through. I think it's always great to see talent come through, and it's, sometimes it's stifled because people do want that Italian name or Spanish name, and
yeah, I mean, I'll blame the fans for that, if I'm honest with you. I mean, if you look at when the windows are open, we're just clambering, sign. Hang on a minute, we've got as good as that or better. It's just like, calm down. And I think Sky are to blame for that a little bit, if I'm honest. I mean, people won't like me saying it. They love to hype the transfer day up. And calm down. You know what I mean? We probably because I work in youth development, I'm saying we've got as good a players as you're trying to make us sign, because it's such a load of hype around the transfer days and all that. I think we're better off if it can possibly be, because I know West Ham. I don't know every West Ham fan. I know 90% of them. But I think a West Ham fan, if they think like I do, is nothing better than a homegrown player coming through. They give them a little bit more tolerance, a little bit. They can make mistakes because they're one of our own. And I think that is, you can't have everyone from the local area, obviously, or coming through the academy. But in an ideal world, I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah, and I know we've got some young players out on loan at the moment, kind of just building up that knowledge. Do you think at what point does somebody think, or do you think it's best for them to go out on loan rather than stay in the under-23s?
It's a bit of both. I mean, because some players are, like Harry Kane went out on loan quite a lot, and so he's worked for him. Deck didn't go anywhere. Mark Noble went out on loan, worked for him. Frank Lampard went out on loan. Jermaine Defoe went out on loan. So it's not one size fits all. It depends where the loan is. I think it's important, like, take Freddie Potts. He's out on loan. He's injured at the moment, but he's out on loan at Wickham. Wickham really wanted Freddie. You know what I'm saying? They've done due diligence. They looked into what he's good at. Now he fits into the way we want to play, and he's had a really, really good loan. He's done really, really well. And that's what I think, if you can be patient and wait for the right club who really wants your player, I think that's the key to it.
Loan development, going down in the lower leagues, getting kicked around a bit as a young player doesn't hurt. I think it toughens you up.
It does, but then you've got to make sure that the club where they go to, whoever that may be, is going to play your player. If they're going down there and just going to sit on the bench or just train, it's not what you want. You can't stipulate, are you going to play out? Well, you can actually, but you can say, are you going to play a player and whatever. But you've got to make sure that they are getting minutes on the pitch, because otherwise they're not really then, what's the point in it? Some people go to a club, like a player, and go then and they've got to go home and wash their own kit. It sounds like, what's that got to do with it? But like at West Ham, everything is on the platform, you know what I'm saying? And they go, I've had to take my kit home and all this sort of stuff. It's just like different things.
So with young players in the academy today, what does that compare like, even like when you started and probably before? Like there's no boot cleaning happening anymore?
No, there's no, what they used to call was jobs. They'd be called jobs sort of thing, boot cleaning and this and that. But now, because of the, I don't know if the PFA stopped it or the Premier League or something, the jobs are not allowed, so they're not allowed to do sort of what with the old school pros would call an apprentice sort of thing. And, so it has changed. To be fair, the younger generation get quite a bad press here and there, but most of the lads today, decent boys. They're decent boys. I don't know if they're decent boys because I've got something they want. They want to earn a pro deal or a scholarship. I don't know if they'd be the same if they was just in a classroom setting at school, but. We're not only producing, hopefully, not only producing, players, we're producing young people for the future. They might not be at West Ham, they might be at another club, or they might even go to another profession, but we're teaching them in the right way.
And obviously, yeah, I mean, is it you that makes that final decision on a player like at the end of every year? No,
it wouldn't be. It'd be a collection of people. We'd be the academy manager, head of recruitment, his coach, head of phases. No, it'd be a group of us sit around the table and we'd all put not a case forward, but it's how I like him, I don't like him, and then we'd discuss it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like him personally. I didn't really like that as a player.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, that's probably the tougher decision you have to make all year, isn't it?
I hate it. I remember years ago, for some reason, the head of recruitment made me sit in an under-14 release. I don't know what I was doing in there. I was under-14's coach at the time. I went in there and the boy was in tears and I was really uncomfortable with it. Yeah. I sort of saw myself in the lad and it was horrible. And the head of recruitment, that's his job, I suppose. He was just hard as nails with it. He said, that's my job. I said, well, don't ever invite me into one again because it's not nice. It's not nice at all.
No, I suppose it's.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we can't take every boy, and they're not all good enough. But it's just something that I don't particularly enjoy.
Yeah, and I know that there's a lot more support now than there used to be.
Oh, without a doubt, there is without a doubt, and we've got to do all we can. If a boy is released or we're not taking, we go to other clubs and say, have a look at this boy, blah blah blah. Maybe a Colchester or a Southend or a Crawley or clubs like that, and say, well, he's good, and try and get him another club. Yeah, we owe that to the player.
Fair enough. I'm going to need my notes for this question, but I know you've worked under 7 managers: Alan Kirbishley, Gianfranco Zola, Avram Grant, Sam Allardyce, Slaven Bilic, David Moyes twice, and Pellegrini. So leaving Moyes aside, because that would be an unfair question, but as a West Ham fan, who do you think did the best at West Ham?
Slav, when he first started, I thought the football we played under Slav, and also because he's very, very close with Steve Potts, who I was working with at the time, I got to know Slav. So, no, Slav, I think I like Slav's style of play, sort of thing. As a bloke, as a person, Sam Allardyce is good company. He's good company. Some of his style of football, which was, he got us that playoff win, which was fantastic. But I actually think Slav, when he very first started, if you remember, we beat Liverpool away 3-0, won there since the Doomsday Book, I think, and stuff like that. And I think Slav when he first started, but did play some. I mean, and you have to remember David Moyes, what he's done in the transfer. I think Jared Bowen, what a great signing that was. No one ever speaks about that. It's a fantastic signing from nowhere to an England player. Thomas Souček. He's so successful in both penalty boxes. Again, no one had ever heard of him. So David's done really well in the transfer to pluck people that no one's even heard of. That is a skill in itself.
Okay, so look, I know you've been at West Ham as a coach, so you've got that loyalty there. But taking your sort of fan side away, what's your greatest moment as a West Ham fan?
As a fan, not the Youth Cup. My greatest moment. Prague weren't bad, actually.
You was out there?
Yeah, I went to Prague, yeah. Maybe Prague, maybe the 80 Cup final. Obviously, we was a Div 2 team beating Arsenal. I think because, I'll have to say Prague, because it's recent and because, I'm 62 in a couple of weeks and I've got to a stage where I thought, I'm never going to see us win anything again. I mean, when we won the FA Cup in... Not 75, I was only a kid. I went 75, but I was, just going to the game, coming home, wasn't the whole social side of it. When we won the Cup in 1980, I was 19 and it was just the best weekend. It was fantastic. Like coming home from work, going straight down the pub in Glasgow, going to the game, staying out all night at a party, then getting the cup back straight to East Ham Town Hall. And I just thought, it's always going to be like that.
Oh, if only.
That's what I'm saying. And it never happened again. So probably Prague, because it waited so long since those days. And it was just, I'll be honest with you, I thought we played terrible in Prague. I thought it was awful. Really, I'm more a purist for the game now, and it's more about how we play as well. But I didn't really care. It was just about us winning. And the way we done it in the last minute, it was just crazy. It was mad. Yeah. It was mad.
We'll take it.
Oh, we'll have it. Yeah.
And you touched upon this. It's going to be one of my points, just around as West Ham fans, we talk a lot about playing the West Ham way. What does that West Ham way mean to you?
Well, it's a thing that... say, I'll talk about when I started, my first game was 1970, Bobby Moore testimonial. It was around sort of 70 to, I don't know, say 84, 85, although we did win 2 cups in that period. We're not someone who's going to go and win the league. We wasn't a Leeds, a Liverpool, Man United, Man City. But in them days, we would always entertain. We'd play, expansive, open, entertaining football, and we'd regularly have 3-2s, 4-3s. Lots of other supporters from other teams, if we weren't playing them, would look out for West Ham, and that is the West Ham way. I think is the. I mean, Trevor Booking's my favourite player of all time. Even better than Dec, and I know Dec well. Yeah. Trevor Booking. I mean, all the years I went to see Trevor and Alan Devonshire play, that is the West Ham way for me. The way we played the game there, I thought it was so. That's why I touched upon Slav more than Sam, shall we say, as the style of play.
Yeah. Funny enough, Alan Devonshire's testimonial was my first ever game. I remember that against Palace. Yeah, when. Against us, Palace had Ian Wright at the time, Alan Smith, Pardew was in the team.
I was obviously there. I don't remember. I just remember the first one of Bobby Moore's testimonial. Yeah. Obviously went at Trevor's as well. Have you seen Alan Devonshire lately? He's bigger than he used to be.
Yeah, he's managing non-league. Is he still? But he was at Maidstone, wasn't he? I don't know if he's still there.
Maidenhead. He's at Maidenhead. He said he's really good friends. And I'll drop his name again with Kevin Keane. Kevin Keane and because they both come from West London. Yeah.
Yeah. Funny enough, we might be getting Tonks on here at some point. Yeah. So look out for that one. So yeah, I do want to get a few West Ham legends on. So obviously the Prague was your kind of high as a fan. Is there any particular low point?
Low point. Obviously those that were there will remember going to Oldham, won a semi-final of the League Cup and on a plastic pitch, and us getting beat 6-0 in the pouring rain was quite a low point. When else have we had particularly low? Obviously, getting relegated at Birmingham that day. I mean, we've been relegated a few times actually. Yeah, but it's just part and parcel. And I definitely want to say this, and this is not being biased. We have got the best supporters in the world. I'm telling you. I mean, people make me laugh at other clubs. Oh, we haven't won the league since then. We've never won the league. And look at the fans. Look how many fans we took to Prague. Our supporters, like we've got Liverpool away a week before Christmas on a Wednesday night in Liverpool. We sold 5,500 tickets like that. We have got the best. It don't even come. It makes me laugh. Other clubs don't even come anywhere near West Ham for loyalty of support. It's ridiculous. And then anyone says that, I just laugh at them. It's just hilarious. We are the best supporters, definitely in the country. I'd say in the world.
Love that. I'll second it. I'll go with that.
No, and that's I'll say that honestly.
Okay, so obviously West Ham. I don't know where we are at the moment in the league. Actually, I think
we're about 12. I think we're in the top half. Actually, we might be 9th.
Might have been after the win. Where do you think we'll end up?
Probably about 9th. I mean, if you look at the expenditures and you look at transfer budgets and stuff like that, although we have got a 60,000 seat stadium. Probably roughly, maybe where we should be. It always, because I work for West Ham now and I work in the game and I know all the little things around it and that. Like my mates, we should be doing that. We'll put it this way: we'll play Man City. Say we're playing Man City, just off the top of my head, and we lose at home to Man City 1 or 2-0, whatever. You get them, we should be doing better. I said, against Man City, should we? Why should we be doing better? Yeah, because I go through. No, look at the money, their expenditure. Look at the quality of their players. We do okay to compete with them. Occasionally, we might bloody their nose, but we do about how we should do. If I'm honest, you know what I'm saying. That's it. We've got the potential to become one of those sort of clubs. I don't know if I'd like us to be one of those clubs. I'm not even sure. If I'm honest, I think. The speciality of us is because we don't win too much. Take this year, we won the Conference League. Won the Conference League. The support out in Prague was ridiculous. The support when they brought the cup back to Stratford was ridiculous. Man City won the Champions League. They didn't even care. It was like 3 geezers and the dog clapping them when they come back. Can't compete with us. This is ridiculous. So we are a special club for different reasons, and that is, I don't think I probably wouldn't want us to change. We are what we are. We're unique.
Yeah, and saying that, and coming back to the thing you said earlier around Oldham and their plastic pitch, which nobody misses. But do you miss the Boleyn?
Oh, without a doubt. But yeah, I'm talking not as an employee here, by the way, as a fan. Yeah. I mean, it was so unique. It was, I didn't realise when we left how much I would miss it. I really didn't. It was for the, and then when we started playing at a new stadium, I think I've got more used to London Stadium now. But no, when we did move, no, we really did miss it. I did.
Yeah, it did feel. I think whenever, like anybody, I think you move into an Olympic stadium with a track around it, it's obviously that is a massive difference to the Boleyn, which was always so tight and on top of everyone.
Yeah, yeah, but I have got more used to the stadium. It's now, it is our home now, and yeah, it was always going to be hard those first couple of years, and then there was always going to be teething problems. But yeah, the bowling was where I grew up, really.
Yeah, it's still hard to get a ticket even at the Olympic Stadium. So we're doing something right, as you say, coming back to the fans.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know where these extra 30,000 fans that we now have come from, but you've got to say the commercial department has done well selling all these tickets.
They've done well. And obviously the European nights help.
Yeah, European night. I mean, it's strange because if I don't go away now as much as I used to, one, because I'm doing a team or whatever, but back in the early 80s, if I went to an away game, say in the Northwest, Manchester United, Liverpool, Everton, I'd probably, and it sounds ridiculous, I'd probably know 80% of the people there, honestly. Yeah. If I go to an away game now, I don't even know 5% of them. Right. Yeah, so that has changed a little bit.
Okay. And we got to the semi-final, wasn't it, against Frankfurt in the Europa Cup last time out. Do you think we can do that again? It's a very tough competition.
Yeah, it's very, very tough, but I think momentum carries you a long way. I went to Frankfurt. we was only beaten that night with, I think Cressy got sent off, didn't he, that night, if I remember. So we weren't that far away from it then. And with our experience last season of winning the trophy, I'm not saying we're going to, but we definitely could do, yeah.
Yeah, we've got enough. Yeah. If we stay fit, I think that always...
Yeah, injuries and that come into play. Yeah, I mean, like last year in Prague, you've got to have things go your way and go in your favour. So, yeah, could do.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I'm going to finish off here with a round of quick-fire questions. Okay, so I'm going to give you the names of some former... I won't do any current West Ham players. I'm going to give you the name of some former West Ham players, and you just have to tell me which ones you would start, bench, or sell. Okay, so we're going to do it in a position.
I hope I don't know them.
No, don't worry. So we're going to start with goalkeepers. Okay, so start, bench, or sell. Ludo Miklosko.
Start.
Robert Green. Shaka Hislop.
Oh, I like all of them. So I've got all three. So well, I'm definitely starting Ludo. Yeah. I'm definitely starting Ludo. Okay, yeah. I'll probably bench Robert Green, and unfortunately for Shaka, I'd sell him then.
Yeah. Do you know, Shaka's one, I used to love Shaka, but that cup final when he let in Gerrard's long-range shot, I don't think I can ever forgive him. I'm not saying it was his fault, but...
The story I know about Shaka has nothing to do with football. I met him at the PFA when I wasn't working for West Ham. He doesn't really drink, but he was actually off his nut that night.
And that's as much as you can tell me.
No, don't say no more.
Fair enough. Okay, defenders. Julian Dix, Rio Ferdinand, Bobby Moore.
I'm starting Bobby Moore without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. I'd put Rio on the bench, and although I know Julian personally, I'd have to sell him.
Liability, yeah. Red card.
Everyone loved him at the time, but I thought he'd give the ball away too much. Yeah. I'm sad to say, I love us playing football. He was 100% wholeheartedly, but just thought he'd give possession away quite a lot.
Yeah, he was the player when I was growing up. That he was the poster on the wall. Dix, Terminator. Yeah. Used to love him. Okay, midfielders. This would be a tough one for you. So we've got Joe Cole, Declan Rice, Mark Noble.
That is hard. I do know all three of them. I'd start Dick. I have to put Nobes on the bench to bring him on, get some time for getting us free kicks when they're not really free kicks, and I'd put Joe Cole. I'd sell Joe. Worth a lot of money, Cole. I'd sell him.
Yeah, good player. And again, this is a tough one as well. Strikers. So you've got Paolo Di Canio, Carlos Tevez, and Sir Jeff Hurst.
Well, Jeff was sort of, when I started, was going a lot. So obviously I've seen they scored 3 goals in the World Cup final. I got to start Jeff. I'd have Di Canio on the bench, and I'd sell Tevez for a lot of money.
Yeah, and relegate us. Keep Sheffield United up.
Yeah, cost us $5,000 with that time.
Yeah, fair enough. Might really appreciate that.
That was a tough round. That's tough, that last little bit.
Yeah, it was tough. So I knew the Mark Noble want to put you in trouble.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So you got to keep him in.
Nobes would be deducting money. Nobes was brilliant. Coming on the pitch and someone would touch him and he'd dive over and give us a couple of minutes for a free kick. Yeah. Best in the world at that, Nobes.
So obviously, and again, well, just to touch on this, obviously Noble is Mr. West Ham. That moment when he retired. Obviously, the last season at Boleyn was really emotional. And what was that like knowing him? Because obviously he bleeds claret and blue.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, it was really it was emotional. It was emotional. It was more emotional for me, I think, when I don't know if you remember whatever his last game was, when he come out of his family and his daughter was crying and all that. That's what got me sort of thing. Like, I mean, I was always say to him, he was someone said, "Oh, Mark Noble, Mr. West Ham," and away from the actual playing side of it and the actual club as a fan, everyone used to call me Mr. West Ham. Honestly, like when I was a black cab driver in London, they were, it's Mr. West Ham. And then Mark Noble's Mr. West Ham. I'm going, no, he's not. But he is Mr. West Ham.
Yeah, you let him have that one.
Let go on, Mark. I'll let you have it, Nobes. Because otherwise people are going, Mark Phillips, who's him? Never heard of him. No, Nobes is Mr. West Ham.
Fair enough, Mark. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your thoughts and stories. You really are an unsung hero of sport, so thank you very much for that.
Not a problem. Thank you very much indeed.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.